A common piece of advice that circulates among horse owners is that whenever you supplement vitamin E, you should also add oil or another source of fat to the horse's feed. The reasoning seems straightforward. Vitamin E is classified as a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it requires fat for absorption. Therefore, many people assume that feeding extra oil will automatically improve the horse's ability to utilize vitamin E. While that idea sounds logical on the surface, equine nutrition researchers suggest that the reality is much more nuanced. In fact, for most healthy horses, adding extra oil specifically to improve vitamin E absorption may be completely unnecessary. To understand why, it helps to start by looking at the role vitamin E plays in the horse's body. Vitamin E is one of the most important antioxidants available to horses. Every day, the horse's body carries out countless metabolic processes that allow muscles to contract, nerves to transmit signals, immune cells to function, and tissues to repair themselves. As a natural consequence of these processes, unstable molecules called free radicals are produced. Free radicals can damage cells if they accumulate in excessive numbers. Vitamin E helps neutralize these molecules before they cause significant harm. Because of this protected role, vitamin E is essential for muscle health, nerve function, immune support, and overall wellness. This function becomes particularly important in horses that are asked to perform at a high level. Competition horses, breeding animals, growing youngsters, and senior horses all face demands that can increase oxidative stress within the body. Long-distance travel, intense exercise, illness, injury, and environmental stressors can all increase the production of free radicals. Vitamin E acts as one of the body's primary defenses against this damage. Without adequate levels, tissues may become more vulnerable to injury and dysfunction. Unlike some nutrients, vitamin E cannot be produced by the horse's body. Horses must obtain all of their vitamin E through diet. Historically, this was not a problem. Wild horses spent the majority of their lives grazing fresh green forage. Fresh pasture is naturally rich in vitamin E and provides horses with a continual supply of this essential nutrient. However, modern horse management often looks very different from the natural grazing lifestyle that horses evolved to follow. Many horses today spend significant portions of their lives in stalls, dry lots, or paddocks, with limited grazing opportunities. Others live in climates where lush green pasture is only available during part of the year. Performance horses frequently travel to competitions and may spend extended periods without access to fresh grass. As a result, many horses rely heavily on hay as their primary forage source. The problem is that vitamin E levels decline rapidly once forage is harvested. The process begins as soon as the grass is cut and continues during drying, baling, transportation, and storage. By the time hay reaches a horse's feed tub, much of its original vitamin E content may have been lost. Consequently, horses consuming mostly hay often receive significantly less vitamin E than horses grazing fresh pasture. This is one of the reasons why vitamin E supplementation has become increasingly common in modern equine nutrition programs. As horse owners begin supplementing vitamin E more frequently, questions naturally arose about how to maximize absorption. Because vitamin E is fat-soluble, many people concluded that additional fat must be necessary. However, this assumption overlooks an important fact. Horses already consume fat as part of their normal diet. When people think about dietary fat, they often picture vegetable oil, rice bran, flaxseed, or specially formulated high-fat seeds. What many do not realize is that forage itself contains fat. Pasture grasses contain measurable amounts of fat. Grass hay contains fat. Alfalfa hay contains fat. Even many commercial concentrates and grain products contribute additionally to dietary fat. Although these feeds may not appear oily, they still produce the dietary fat necessary for normal digestive processes. Because horses consume large quantities of forage each day, even relatively small percentages of fat can add up to a meaningful amount. A horse eating 20 pounds of hay daily is ingesting significantly more fat than many owners realize. Commercial feeds often increase total fat intake even further. As a result, most healthy horses already consume enough dietary fat to support vitamin E absorption without requiring any additional oil. Research conducted on natural vitamin E supplements support this conclusion. Studies have demonstrated that horses can effectively absorb natural vitamin E, even when consuming diets that would not traditionally be considered high in fat. These findings suggest that the fat naturally present in forage and feed is often sufficient for absorption. In practical terms, this means that many horses receiving vitamin E supplements do not need any additional oil, solely for the purpose of utilizing the vitamin. This finding challenges a widely accepted belief within the horse community. Many owners have been taught that feeding vitamin E without added oil is ineffective or wasteful. However, the available evidence indicates that this is generally not the case. Most horses already receive enough dietary fat through their regular feeding programs to support normal vitamin E absorption. Understanding this concept becomes easier when we consider the horse's natural biology. Wild horses did not consume concentrated oils. They did not receive rice bran supplements or specially formulated high-fat feeds. Yet they absorbed vitamin E successfully from their diet. The horse's digestive system evolved to function using the nutrients naturally present in forage. Modern horses retain those same biological adaptations. As long as adequate dietary fat is present through normal feed ingredients, the digestive system is capable of absorbing vitamin E effectively. This does not mean that supplemental fat lacks value. There are many legitimate reasons to include additional fat in a horse's diet. Performance horses often benefit from fat as a source of concentrated energy. Endurance horses may rely heavily on fat metabolism during prolonged exercise. Hard keepers may require additional calories to maintain body condition. Senior horses sometimes benefit from higher energy diets that help support weight maintenance. In these situations, feeding oil or other fat sources can be highly beneficial. However, those benefits are related to energy intake and body condition rather than vitamin E absorption. The mistake occurs when horse owners assume that every horse receiving vitamin E automatically requires additional oil. In reality, the two decisions should be evaluated separately. A horse may benefit from supplemental fat for calorie needs, or it may not. A horse may need vitamin E supplementation, or it may not. These are distinct nutritional considerations. There are, of course, exceptions. Horses suffering from severe malnutrition, digestive disorders, or medical conditions that impair fat absorption may require specialized nutritional strategies. In these cases, veterinarians and equine nutritionists may recommend adjustments to both fat intake and vitamin supplementation. However, these situations represent exceptions rather than the rule. The average healthy horse consuming adequate forage and a balanced ration generally has sufficient dietary fat available for normal vitamin E absorption. Perhaps the most important question for many horse owners is not whether additional oil is necessary, but whether their horse is receiving enough vitamin E in the first place. Because fresh pasture is often limited and stored forages loses vitamin E over time, deficiency can become a genuine concern. Horses with limited access to green grass may benefit from blood testing to evaluate their vitamin E status. This is particularly true for performance horses, breeding animals, growing horses, and horses with neurological concerns. Blood testing provides a much clearer picture than simply guessing based on appearance or feeding practices. Some horses may appear healthy while still having suboptimal vitamin E levels. Others may be receiving more than enough through a combination of forage, feed, and supplementation. Testing allows owners and veterinarians to make informed decisions based on actual data rather than assumptions. Ultimately, the idea that every vitamin E supplement must be paired with added oil is largely a misconception. Vitamin E does require fat for absorption, but most horses already consume adequate fat through their normal diet. Hay, pasture, and commercial feeds naturally provide that. While supplemental fat certainly has its place in equine nutrition, it is not automatically required whenever vitamin E is fed. The next time someone suggests that a vitamin E supplement is useless without an extra cup of oil, it may be worth remembering that horses have been absorbing vitamin E from forage for thousands of years. In many cases, the fat needed for absorption is already present in the feed bucket. The real focus should be on ensuring that the horse receives adequate vitamin E itself, rather than assuming that more oil is always the answer. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, I am not AI. If you listen closely, you can hear me breathing.